This is Shelley Craft coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the Cambridge House Vancouver Resource Investment Conference 2014 right here in lovely Vancouver. I have with me Mickey Fulp, the Mercenary Geologist, newsletter and a speaker at the conference. Mick, welcome back to SNNLive.
Thanks for having me once again, Shelley.
It's good to have you. First quarter 2014, a crowded conference with a buzz. There's a pulse in the junior mining industry.
On CPR for the last couple of years, but we have a pulse.
There's a heartbeat. I want you to tell me, what did you do at this conference?
I have done 9 other interviews, and I have done a Q&A session on junior resource stocks in a workshop.
What's the most interesting question you heard?
Have we seen the bottom? Did we see the bottom?
Is this the bottom?
The bottom was in June, the end of June. We have been on the uptick or flatlined for most of the time since then. We retested that low below 900 on the venture index during the heart of tax loss season, plus or minus December 15th when it always comes, and we've been on the uptick since. Do I expect that bottom to be tested again? I hope not, but possibly. But what we've seen, we've got 12 days in a row where the index is up since the first of the year, and that's led to, as you said, some buoyancy in the market and a good feeling at this conference, which we haven't seen for a while.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the question that I would have asked Mickey in his Q&A would have been the following. Are you a buyer, are you a seller, or are you a holder?
All three of the above. Depends on the stock. I bought recently. I sold right at the end of tax loss selling. In fact, Shelley, I sold at 1:55 p.m. on December 31st, and I wiped out all my capital gains. But at the same time, I've been buying some beaten up stocks. And then there's some that have done well, some that have done poorly, that I am not ready to sell. What I generally do is I have programmed open orders to sell, and sometimes I sell and I don't even know it's been sold until I get a broker fill at the end of the day in the market. So with programmed open orders to sell, you can hit the highs in the market whenever, or intermediary highs. So you decide, well, I'd like to take some money off the table in this stock, or I'd like to generate some profit so I can put that into a new private placement or a new stock. So I'm buying and selling and holding all the time. It never really ceases for me. Although in a bull market, I sell a lot more than I do in a bear market.
What sector do you like the most? As far as, when I say sector, I know we're in the mining and resource, but what part of the mining and resource, where do you think the biggest upside gain is?
The biggest upside is always in the advanced explorers. That's where you get the biggest bang for your buck. There is, venture capital goes where risk is considered lowest for the highest reward. And historically in our business, I think that's the advanced explorers. That's my sweet spot.
So, is there still pressure on the resource industry to be a producer as far as juniors are concerned?
Always. That is the nature of our business now. In previous booms and busts in this business, until the latest one, which arguably started in 2003, the modus operandi for most of the companies was to go out and do exploration, grassroots exploration in far-flung parts of the world. This time we have become small producers. So the goal in most of these companies is still to become a small producer and eventually either build a mid-tier mining company, get taken out by a larger mining company, and then of course most of them still going to fail.
Do you think there's still going to be a contraction in 2014?
I hope so. The problem we have is we still have way too many worthless juniors, and they're dragging down the rest of the market. We have, what, a couple of hundred companies here, and for the most part, that would be the cream of the crop. And where are the other 1,400 plus juniors that you don't see anymore? Well, number one, they're no longer viable. They don't have enough money to come to the show. And they don't have projects that will intrigue investors, and those companies need to go. The problem we have is the TSX is publicly listed companies, got to generate a profit, and they keep throwing lifelines out to these companies to keep them going by allowing them to raise money at lower prices. Now you can do a 5-cent private placement with a 5-cent warrant. I always thought warrants were supposed to be higher so you could participate in the reward of the company. So they're throwing them lifelines all the time so they can collect their fees and continue to generate a good bottom line for their stockholders. So it's a bit of conflict of interest, don't you think?
Mine is not the reason why.
Okay.
I sit here and wonder why. So I'm along with you, and I come to you for the answers. So my thinking is, as you're talking to investors, if you had to give them one guiding principle, one thing, one morsel of a Mickey Fulp mercenary geologist thing to say, what would that be?
Do very solid due diligence before you buy a stock. Know the reasons why you're buying it and what you expect from that stock in order to generate a profit for you. If at some point in the future the reasons for buying that stock have changed or are no longer viable, then sell it, and don't hold on for some pie in the sky thing you may think was supposed to happen 2 years ago, and you still think it might happen in 3 or 4 years. Do not hesitate to sell stocks. And
the website for more information?
mercenarygeologist.com. This interview will be posted on mercenarygeologist.fm, the audio portion, and then people don't have to look at our mugs. It might even be better that way. And at Mercenary Geo, join 34,000 other Twitter followers. We have fun with our Twitter feed. It's a lot more than our business. It's kind of what we're doing, where we're going fishing, when we're going to leave to the Super Bowl. I'm going to Super Bowl, right? Denver Broncos, go.
I'm a Giant fan. I have nothing to say.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, mercenary geologist who happens to be going to the Super Bowl, Mickey Fulp, mercenarygeologist.com, correct? We got it. He's a newsletter writer, of course, special speaker at the conference. I'm Shelley Kraft, SNNLive. We're at the Cambridge House Vancouver Resource Investment 2014 conference. Great to have you. Good to see you, Mick.
Likewise,
May the best team win the Super Bowl.
That's the Denver Broncos, I trust.